UFOs, aliens, fallen angels, the truth comes out. We have our caller back with us today. Doug, are you on the line?
Yes, I'm here.
It's all yours.
Good morning, Pastor Dave.
Good morning.
Good morning to the audience. I just want to say that thank you for listening and tuning back into what we're going to talk about a little bit more about fallen angels and the aliens. Now, once again, we ended with there's no good alien, there's no bad alien. I just want to reiterate, good alien or bad alien, they're all demons. So, to go on, we talked a little bit about a fake rapture, a fake Armageddon, and a fake early start of the new millennium. So let's talk about the deception. These wolves are going to do what they always do. They always lie. Often their lies are turned upside down. So when you're hearing them and they're saying, look up, it's actually look down.
Right.
So what they are promising, these GFL, the Galactic Federation of Light, and they have convinced a lot of people, and it's not only in their circles. There are people out of their circles. There are also others that are primed in this third eye mysticism that also believe in this. What they are promising is as the earth goes through her changes, and that would be our tribulation, that she will ascend into the fourth and fifth dimensions. These GFL, these demons, these beings, they say they created us, and they are here to help us prepare for the tough times ahead, taking some humans off-world, different planets, or even to a place called Agartha. Now, Agartha is center of the earth in the three-dimensional realm, our earth here. This demonic group also promises to take Christians to another planet for reprogramming from the misconceptions and mistranslations of the Bible. Yes, they even have a God for every religion on earth.
My.
Yes, they are saying that they're coming as light beings. And will they fool many? Yes, they already are and already have. They will say they are coming, bringing gifts, money, free energy, cures. The list goes on and on and on. I also believe that along with this is coming the world government, the world religion, as well the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast, it's an entirely different subject. It's a long subject. It will have to do with monetary systems, but there may also be other things involved with it that can biologically change humans. Now, I'm not going to get into that right now. Maybe later, if Pastor Dave wants me to return, we can start talking a little bit about that.
Oh, most definitely.
So, what's the tie-in? Almost every religion on earth currently uses a type of mystic third eye religion already. We talked a little bit about that. The GFL encourage everyone to use that mystic eye to communicate with them. A sharing of body with demons. That's what it is.
Right.
If anybody ever goes to this site, stay away from it. If you're going there with the full protection of Yahweh, fine. Go in and start investigating what this group is all about. But go in with the full armor of Yahweh. Okay, think this can't happen in the church? Too late. It already is. It's being promoted in a big way.
Agreed.
It's being promoted as Nirvana, Buddha, Yahweh Yoga, Jesus Yoga, God Yoga. It goes under many names. So I'm just going to stop there with that. If the the audience knows who Lucis Trust is, formerly Lucifer Trust.
Mm.
This group is deep, and so deep that, again, I do not have the time to start a good conversation with it. Put it this way. They are evil. They worship Satan with deep, deep roots. They are a publishing company, and they have many, many subsidiaries under that. They are deeply rooted into the one world government. Yes, you can even find Third Eye Mystic Jesus Christ on their website.
Mm.
This is a known Satanist group, and now they've even included Jesus Christ on their website in a mystic fashion. This is not Jesus Christ. Of course, this is none other than what they're promoting, which would be the Antichrist. What is that? A known Satanist group here, a Satanist publishing company, has changed its name from Lucifer Trust, now Lucis Trust, and the founder and Satanist Alice Bailey, beginnings tied into Satanist Helena Blavatsky.
Mm.
Also, Aleister Crowley is tied into that, and even Adolf Hitler. He carved his life around these satanic groups. This list is short. There's thousands and thousands of people that are involved in this. I'm only going to name a few to start with. Anybody who wants to research this can research it and find a whole list of a lot of people that are involved in this group. I have not even begun with the sinister dealings they have had on our way of life. The roots are, they go and are very involved with the murdering and the slaughter of innocent babies through abortion. As just one point to talk about. To me, abortion is just an absolutely insane thing to do. To a Satanist, an abortion means a sacrifice. And we have done many. And it has been the downfall of America that this has been allowed to exist. As a matter of fact, if you go into the crime history of the United States, and as you see innocent babies being aborted and how many there are, you'll see the crime rate of the United States go up and down with the abortion rate. Just wanted to throw that out.
Well, I agree.
So the findings of the Pope and the involvement. The Papacy is promoting aliens. They're promoting a one-world government. World Council of Churches. Recently, I had a finding. The Papacy promoting Nirvana Buddha into the Eastern European Orthodox religion.
I remember it wasn't that long ago the Vatican had held a conference on extraterrestrials.
Yes, absolutely. And if you follow some of those that are underneath the Pope, they'll also give testimony to that.
Right.
Anyway, I did some research and I came across a Romanian Orthodox church site. And I won't go into how I got there, but how I got there was rather strange. I won't go into that right now. Anyway, I landed on this site and I translated it. And I went in and I started doing some study. And they have a petition there. And the petition is to keep the Pope out of Romania. The petition also goes on to say that the Papacy is trying to promote Nirvana Buddha into the Eastern European Orthodox religion right now.
And, so many of our Catholic brothers and sisters, they have no idea, like you were talking about prior, what's going up, the chain of command,
That's right. And I anticipate, as time goes on, a lot of the good Catholics coming out of that church. The church has been a little bit of a deceiver, you might say.
Right.
And I do expect many learning and finding out just exactly what's going on and escaping. Anyway, to go on, Yahweh interrupted my learning about the evil things that are going on with a deeper understanding of who He is, what He wants for me, what He wants for those who seek His most deepest love within. The words in the Bible now seem to catch on fire for me. The words came into me with deep understandings, showing me the connections and understanding of Yahweh. What many don't realize or really understand is all the lengths that Yahweh has gone to so that we may have everlasting life with His Son, Yeshua, who is indeed the Father, and He is indeed the Holy Spirit, and Amen. He is indeed the Son of Man. The desire of Yahweh is not to sit on a high mountain with pride, looking down upon all His creations. He simply wants to mingle with us, and that's proven through Yeshua, His Son. He wants to love us and spoil us without the hardships that come with being spoiled. Sin simply cannot exist in His world, just like light and dark cannot exist. Light simply overcomes darkness, and love simply overcomes hate. The book now had an unending life of its own. It seems now a person can read the Bible for 10 lifetimes and just scratch the surface of what is in this grand book. Every single word, phrase, chapter, and verse are connected in other places of the Bible, a parallel that is endless. Next we go into Yahweh's math. We talked a little bit about this yesterday. I'm not great at math, but it is all in there. I've done some research, but it's very, very overwhelming. Just scratching a piece of the numbering system is overwhelming enough, and I do invite people to dig into this and look into this. Of course, we have our standard numbers, of what 3 means and what 5 and what 6 and 7 and so forth mean, but it goes a lot deeper than that. So let's go on. The bride. Who's the bride? Okay, the Father is only going to accept a perfect bride.
Exactly.
And that's the bride of Philadelphia. If you read through the 7 churches, it's very apparent that the only one that is promised to escape all these things is the bride.
I agree.
I've done some deep studies in this, and I strongly urge anybody who really wants to understand Revelation to understand where the bride is and where the church is and where the church promises are and where the bride's promises are. To go on, break apart each church and each word. Compare the differences. Look at the parallels. Ask, why are they all different? Look at their beginnings. What is it that Yeshua tells them about how they are doing?
Right.
What are they doing? What is their promise? Are they going to paradise? Are they going into the wrath period of Yahweh? Will their crowns be what? Will they enter the millennium stage rather than spend the millennium in the heavens? Again, to learn about paradise is actually where the Garden of Eden begins. That paradise means the garden. It was not on this earth. It is 2 dimensions above us called the third heaven. There are also many heavens above that. In our universe, they start at the 5th heaven, the abode of Yahweh, and drop down to our 1st heaven, which is here on earth. Now, the 1st heaven here on earth is anything that is above the crust, and that means the oceans and everything in it. It means everything that is on the crust is and belongs to the 1st heaven. The waters that are underneath the crust, that would be groundwater, that belongs to the crust of the earth. That is the earth. That's not where the heaven is. The heavens are above that. The open door for the bride is where the bridegroom is. The bridegroom is in about, my gosh, okay, so we have these 5 different heavens, starting with Earth, and we have the original Garden of Eden, which is in the 3rd dimension. And we look at these trees. We have a tree of knowledge of good and evil, and then we have this tree of life. And I look at it as the Garden of Eden is planted right in between them. And so we have this beautiful hanging tree dropping down into the Garden of Eden, and yet we have this evil tree that's planted in the earth, the 1st dimension earth, us, growing up into the Garden of Eden. And this is not exactly how it is, but I'm just saying that that's the picture I get in my mind.
Right.
And Satan deceived Eve, of course, and I'm not going to get into whether Satan had sex with Eve, though it is very suspicious.
Right. A lot of people are going that direction.
Cain. The canon Bible doesn't tell us that. The canon Bible doesn't give us a whole lot of information there. Is it possible? Yes. Is it also not possible? Yes.
Right.
I'm not going to really express an opinion on that. However, there had to have been some sort of hanky-panky going on at that particular time. We'll also notice that both Adam and Eve lost their clothing, or they became naked. When we read through the Bible, we understand clothing. I mean, look at Revelation and look at those that get new clothing, okay, when they enter into the heavens. These are spiritual clothing, or the clothing of the soul,
right.
the one in the Garden of Eden, or the one in the upper heavens. And when sin came into Eve and Adam and Eve, they lost that, and they discovered that they were naked. It was because of sin.
Right.
And so I believe that their role was reversed. Rather than being in a dimensional, 5th dimensional realm, they and themselves reversed their role and followed down into the 1st dimensional realm, which is where we are now.
Right.
And so we can kind of take it from there. In reading the Bible, if you look at this type of perspective, it may open up a whole new world to you as to how the Bible reads. Anyway, to go on, I also believe that throughout the generations, and that is dating back to the very, very first day that the heavens were created by Elohim. Okay, if we notice, Lucifer existed at that period, and he was beautiful, and he was a bright star, and he was a luminary. I believe a brightness beyond imagination.
Right.
And when he fell, I believe when he was kicked out of heaven as a cherubim, he was actually kicked down into the 6th dimension. At that particular time, Yahweh had overcome darkness, and the 5th heaven, which would be the 7th dimension, was overcome by light. In other words, light conquered darkness, and now in that realm there is no division currently in that heaven.
Right.
Now, as a 6th dimensional being, Satan fell again, and that was at the time at the Garden of Eden. And when he fell by tempting Eve, of course we know what happened. He became a creature that crawled on the ground. And I believe that creature is also systematic with the reptilian realm. We notice right now there is first of all, no reptilian cherubim, and the reptiles that once roamed the earth walked on 2 feet, and who knows what else did. But now the reptiles seem to all be grounded on the ground, whether it be a snake or a frog, or whether it be what have you. They crawl on their belly.
Right.
Anyway, once Lucifer was conquered from the 6th, he went to the 5th. Now we have Lucifer causing havoc in paradise, Garden of Eden. And I personally believe that when Yeshua died on the cross and was resurrected, it was at that point that Satan fell again to the fourth dimension, and that's where he's been for 2,000 years. Now, in the paradise realm right now, I believe again that once darkness was conquered, light came upon paradise, and it was 100% light. There was no evening. There was no. It was all light. Okay. And we're going to learn about that when we get into Revelation. We start discovering what happens to our earth, what actually happens to our earth, and what actually happens to the earth in the millennium. But for now, I'll pause on that, and we'll get back to that a little bit later. So getting back to the churches. These were all real churches back in the apostle days. They have been churches in categorical orders within all the churches today. That's with the exception of Thyatira, possibly Pergamos, which have remained in the same group to this day.
Right.
These other four groups are the many different groups today and many different names of churches with very similar interests. It does not even mean that you physically belong to any of these churches. However, there is a category that every Christian fits into. The letters to the seven churches is simply put, it's a report card for everyone who follows Yeshua.
Exactly.
If your loved one does not make the first cut as the bride of the pre-tribulation rapture, there is still salvation coming throughout the 7-year tribulation. Yes, there will be hardship. Yes, there will be death, hunger, pestilence, disease. Even the first half of the tribulation will be a time of major testing of faith. And these things that are about to unfold very soon are going to be a horrid time. The message to all is this. If you haven't already, save yourself a ton of hardships. Come to Yahweh in the deepest of prayers, the deepest in spirit, and ask him into your life. Now, a lot of people may ask, well, how do I know if I'm in the Church of Philadelphia? Well, are your thoughts placed on Yahweh throughout the day? Do you talk to him throughout the day? Are you in deep prayer with him? Does he have an impact on your life? Have things changed dramatically for you? And that's the best way that I can put it. It's within you. Okay? If you have a spiritual and loving relationship with Yahweh, and anytime even the thought of sin passes your way, he is convicting you of it. He is saying, turn away from that.
Right.
And when you do see something like that come across, you immediately repent of the sin of seeing that.
Right.
Okay? Sin does not have to be sin in the flesh. Sin can also be sin in the soul, the very being of you, and that is a sin also. And so my reflection on this would be just repent and always be in prayer, because we're in for a time. We're in for a big time, and the bride of Christ is the ultimate place where we will all be. So to go on, I wanted to kind of go over some things with the audience. Okay, first of all, we know that Yahweh always works in numbers. And I'm going to present a scenario for you. And I'm not saying this is a real scenario. However, looking at it may make you wonder. And so I'm going to go back and I'm going to try to talk to people about, first of all, I don't believe we're in the 5th seal. I don't believe we're in the 6th seal. I don't believe we're in even the 1st seal. I don't believe that we've begun trumpet judgments, okay? I believe it's an impossible theology. First of all, in the seal judgments, 25% of the Earth's population is going to go away. Okay, however that comes about through death, pestilence, or if there is a second rapture for the churches, there's nothing positive about that. I'm highly suspicious that during the 7th seal there may be. I've not found other parallels as of yet that absolutely positively say that. However, I find it interesting that the angels at the four corners stop all the winds, and there is all of a sudden a multitude. I mean, a multitude. I'm thinking, probably billions that mysteriously show up in heaven. What's that? But it goes on to talk about the ceiling of the 144,000. Now, if there's, how is it that only 144,000 are chosen if there are still strong believing Christians during the seal period? Why is it only 100? Why isn't there 145,000 or 150,000?
Right.
Could it be that could it be that the church saints were removed from the earth along with the dead at that period of time? Is possible. I'm not going to say it is for absolute, but I am highly suspicious of it. So now let's go do that little math scenario. Okay. First of all, today we are very, very close to a 7 billion population. Some census say we're a little over. However, the U.S. World Census estimates by mid-March 2012. Now, there is no human, and there is no demon, and there is no fallen angel who can absolutely say what day it's going to be when 7 billion people hit this earth.
Right.
And I'm not even saying that it's absolute that at 7 billion, that's when the rapture is going to occur. However, I am highly suspicious. And now let's get into the math. If we have a 7 billion population, okay, and we have 7 church population, 7 churches, which is somewhere in the 2 billion, 300 million area, okay? So for this particular demonstration, I am going to say, okay, there's 2,333,333,333 people per church group of 7. And that's if we divide that 2.33333 billion into 7. That's the number that we come up with. Now, once we subtract that, what I would say would be the Church of Philadelphia, the 333 million, okay? We end up with a 2 billion Christian count left on the earth when the first tribulation seal begins.
Right.
The remaining 6 churches, of course, would be 6 by 333, 333, 333 each. Now, beginning with the first half of the tribulation, the seal judgments, okay? If we take the population of 7 billion and subtract out the Church of Philadelphia, we get an odd number. So that's 7 billion minus 333,333,333, which equals 6,666,666,666
666
people left on Earth. Okay, so we start the first seal at the 6.666666 billion. Okay.
Wow.
And the seal judgment tells us that 25% of the population of Earth will be killed, or something will happen. They'll be removed during the first half of the tribulation. Okay, so when we do that 25%, oddly enough, we have 1,666,666,666. That's 25%. Okay, and so we have our first 1.666 billion removed, and that takes us down to a new population before the trumpet starts at exactly 5 billion. Now that ends the seal judgments.
We got about one more minute, but go ahead.
Go ahead.
We got about one more minute, maybe 2.
Yes, what's that now?
We got about one more minute, maybe 2, but I don't want to cut it away until you're finished with this. This is good.
Okay,
it's real
well,
interesting
when we
here.
begin the trumpet judgments, okay, we find out that 1/3 of those that belong to Satan will be killed. So we take 5 billion and subtract the 1/3, 33.333%. And when we do that, oddly enough, we have 1,666,666,666. Now, at the end of the trumpets, this leaves us a balance of 3,333,333,333. Okay. So now we have an absolute rapture harvest that happens at that particular time. And now, there is nothing that says, okay, what is the amount? It doesn't say there's third or a quarter or anything. So I'm just going to stay with the pattern. Okay, we've seen a quarter, we've seen a third. Now I'm going to use the figure of a half. So if we take 3,333,333,333 and we subtract half, wow, here it is again. We have 1,666,666,666 left on the earth after the angels gather the saints of that number, which is also 1,666,666,666.
Wow.
Now we move into the post-tribulation. This is the thief in the night. This is going to trouble a lot of people, okay? And I will get into that later if Pastor Dave wants us to touch bases on that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But I'd like to share with you, the thief in the night is not what we may think, okay? The thief in the night happens at post-tribulation. It's completely separate from the tribulation, from the rapture of the church in pre-tribulation, the rapture at the end of the tribulation. But oddly enough, when we take that 1,666,666, which is, by the way, the goals of the Georgia Guidestones are very close to that. When we subtract half, we have 833,333,333 left. One taken in the thief of the night, and one left.
Oh,
okay?
wow.
At this point, we have those that go into the millennium. And we're going to stop there, Pastor Dave.
All right.
We'll touch bases on
I don't even want to stop.
What's that?
I don't even want to stop. We're going to pick this up again.
Okay.
All right, this is where we left off. I'm going to pick it up again.
Okay.
UFOs, aliens, fallen angels. The truth is really, really coming out. Thank you, Doug.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody. God bless.
Bye-bye.